Hi everybody, I'm here with none other than Fremantle Dockers legend Matthew Pavlich. Matt, thank you for having me today.
Pleasure.
Matt's going to be speaking to you at the August Total Success Summit here in Perth, which we're very, very honoured about. So what we want to do is just have a bit of a chat with Matt today about a few things to give you guys an insight on what Matt's going to be speaking about in August. So Matt, what I want to talk about is leadership. Obviously, as an elite performer, when you're on the field, you're focusing on yourself, you're focusing on your opponent, you're focusing on the team and what's going on with the game. If you're finding that the game is under a bit of pressure or there's a possibility that you're going to lose it, as a leader, how do you rally the people around you or rally the boys on the field? How do you bring them up at the same time as having to make sure that you're on point as well and that you're performing to the level that you need to perform?
I guess there's probably a couple of facets and how I answer that. The first one is, as a player, you probably go through, or an athlete, you go through 3 phases. And the phases are you're hoping to get a game, and then you play a few games, and then you expect to get a game. And then from there you go to expecting to play well. And that's essentially, in a nutshell and a very simple way of describing it, I guess the evolution of a player's mindset, how they go through those 3 phases. And then as a leader, or as a player that's expecting to play well each week, yeah, you have to prepare and go about your business in a very structured and processed manner, your preparation phase, but you're expecting to play well. So the time and effort that goes into that, or at least the energy that goes there, isn't as much as when you're younger. And leadership, in a simple way, is really seeing an issue, seeing a problem, knowing how to fix it, and then getting into action and fixing it. So when you're out there and playing and you can identify things that aren't going well, you can see particular structures or ball movement or particular patterns of play that aren't consistent with what you are trying to adhere to as a group, it's very easy to give the feedback straight away. And certainly when I was playing, that's what feedback was on the game day. It was direct, it was honest, and it was straight to the point. You don't have time when your heart rate's beating at 180 beats a minute, your legs are burning, to sort of say, oh, can we go and have a coffee about that? So,
mate, are you okay?
So the feedback's really stern and really fast. So as a leader, you're in a phase of your own game that's pretty strong, and you're not, yes, there's time and energy you put into that, but it's around making sure that the group is on point, that you are leading them, that you're identifying any particular areas that aren't going so well, that you continue to perpetuate things that are going really well. So it's a critical piece, that on-field leadership, because you can't rely on a coach or a runner to come out. It's about everyone being on the same page at the same time.
Yeah, so I would imagine that a lot of the preparation will be done for that before you even get out on the field.
Yeah.
So, 90% of it would be done, behind closed doors that we don't get to see, and the 10% is the game that we get to see. Would that be sort of an accurate,
Yeah, I mean, everything throughout the whole week, in terms of reviewing the previous game, previewing the upcoming opposition, working on tape that may be from training that you need to, you might have adjusted a particular structure and you're sort of reviewing that in the prelude to the game upcoming. Yeah. Obviously all the training, all the preparation individually, physio, massage, yoga, pool, ice, the list goes on, weights, training. It's really, the 2 hours of the weekend is the best 2 hours of the week.
Sure.
But it's such a small part of everything that goes before that. In terms of percentage-wise, it's probably 2 hours of a 40-hour week.
Yeah, so then it's really more.
Small.
Yeah, it's incredible because we only see such a small amount of that once we sit down at the ground and we watch the game. The preparation, we say, we bleed in here so we can play well out there kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's probably more of the analogy.
Coaches talk about it more so, but game day, it's just about executing.
Yeah.
The real work and everything. And that's probably, in a lot of ways, what I'm most proud of throughout my 17-year AFL career. It's not the things that I did on the field.
Yeah.
They were nice elements. But it's all the hard work that no one else saw over 17 years. and 350 games, they're the bits that I'm most proud of.
Yeah, absolutely. I can understand. So, mate, just one of the other things that we talk about in real estate is real estate can be quite a taxing industry. And, you know, these guys get up and they get up every morning and, you know what, they get punched in the face. I mean, that's kind of, it's not literal, obviously, though maybe some have been literal on me too. But, you know, so I'm sure some of them feel like it is. What do you find that you have to sort of draw on when things start to get tough? Now, whether that's for yourself mentally, whether that's for the team, whether you're copying it, you know, because, I mean, we're all so passionate about our footy in this state that I know that those passions can, you know, get the better of us, get the better of some people sometimes. How do you deal with that when, what do you do? What do you draw on to make sure that you keep Matthew Pavlich's mindset, you know, on point and in the game of where it needs to be?
Like always, whether there's external noise or otherwise, it's all about staying in the moment and not getting distracted by past results or potentially what might happen in the future. And athletes talk about that a lot. They talk about trying to stay in the moment. Because if you're focused on what happened in the past or what's upcoming, then you're not worrying about what the most important thing is and that's
now.
The here and now.
Yeah.
So, and that takes a lot of effort. So for me, I did a lot of meditation, I did a lot of visualization, and yeah, that was a concerted effort to actually focus on what I needed to be doing and to be able to stay in the moment and using triggers. So when I was thinking about a past result, that missed shot at goal or a particular moment in the game, I use a trigger to sort of pull me back to the present moment.
Yeah, cool.
The other part that's been really important is having really strong people, I guess, in my inner circle. And in a lot of ways, I was quite a private person throughout my whole career, and not many people were sort of let into the inner circle. I had a really small support network, and that included, you know, my wife, Lauren, my mum and dad, a couple of really close mates that I had through school, and a couple of important business leaders here in Perth. So, yeah, realistically, for whatever reason, I was quite cautious of the way I sort of spoke publicly. You know, I often hold my cards very close to my chest. I was happy to sort of, you know, engage with members of the public, engage with our members and all that sort of stuff. But generally speaking, it was at arm's length, particularly the inner dealings and the inner thoughts that I had. And that was a protective mechanism, if nothing else.
Yeah.
So. That support network's really critical, and I think probably for most professions they do need that.
Yeah, look, I agree, and that's something that we talk about as coaches in real estate. We say to them, get a great support network around you, because I think it can be integral to keeping your mindset where it needs to be to make sure that you're performing at the level that you need to be, because really that's what we want you to be. We want you or the real estate agent to be the one out there performing, and everything else can get done by the people that are sort of in the background there.
You know, and they're the people, whether it was internal at the football club or external, that, you know, everything's set up for you to be able to perform your best on those 2 hours each week. And, you know, that support network within staff at the footy club, but your internal network's really critical. And it does allow you to stay in the moment and not get distracted, because there is a lot of noise out there, and particularly for young players that come into the system, you know, the bright lights and everything that goes with it. To stay focused on what you really want and aligning your own values to how you perform is really important.
Did you find that was tough when you first came in, with the limelight and you know, all these lights on you, because you were a young guy when you came in? Did you find that was difficult to cope with? I
was fortunate to be exposed to a bit of that before I got into the AFL. As a 17-year-old in year 12, I was playing in the SANFL.
Yep.
And so I was exposed to an element of it. By no means did I handle it perfectly. I think the first 3 or 4 years of my career, my form oscillated and I was developing, and it was probably an element of getting caught up in the noise to some degree. I think I probably handled it better than most, but there was definitely an element of the alluring nature of that. But at the same time, I always wanted to have a long and distinguished career. So, you know, if I ever sort of went down that path, I myself pulled myself back in line, or had others doing that for me.
Do you? And one question: do you remember your first kick in the AFL?
Yeah, I do.
Do you remember how you felt?
Well, it was my first game at the WACA against Melbourne in 2000, so we were still playing at the WACA then. I marked the ball within 20 seconds of the game starting in the goal scorer and kicked a goal. So I don't really recall, many memories or feelings. It just was all. It is literally a blur.
Yeah.
But standing alongside Tony Modra, who I grew up idolising in Adelaide, was a special moment to run down the race, and that was something that I'd been dreaming of for 18 years, and I was able to do it.
Wow, it's incredible. And tell me, Joe, one of the other things that I wanted to speak about as well was the early days. So while we're sort of reminiscing a little bit and talking about the early days, what we sort of say to our real estate agent clients is that if they work hard, if they put their head down and they make a few sacrifices in the first, maybe 3 years of their careers, they can really set themselves up to then maintain a great level and really have a great career in real estate. Do you think that's similar to what you've had to experience in football as well? Pushing hard in the beginning years and then maintaining it until you reach the pinnacles that you've reached.
Yeah, to be an elite athlete, elite AFL player for a long period of time, you have to work really hard all the time. There's no way around that.
Yep, sure.
To maintain standards for a long period of time, talent doesn't, in the end, make any difference. It's about your discipline, your work ethic, and your desire to it. So, work-life balance and these things get bandied around, and they're critical. Having flexibility in your life is critical, and you need times where you can cut off your work and be able to focus on something else. So for me, but the point is that if you're going to make a career of it, it's going to take a lot of sacrifice, a lot of hard work, and a lot of discipline. But you can have a lot of fun as well.
Sure.
And that's the point that we tried for a long time to talk to my teammates about. What I found was really important for me was really compartmentalising my life. So being really strong and working hard, and then leaving that once I left the football club as best as I could. And that's why study was really important for me. I was able to complete 2 university degrees pretty much during my career. And then having fun with your friends as well, being able to socialise. So being able to put things in buckets and really engage with them when you're in that moment, but at the same time, at some level, drop that and then focus on the next thing.
Yeah, I mean, that is a real skill, but I think it's a learnt skill too. So
Definitely,
I think if everybody can learn to do that, switch on and off as they go, depending on where they need to be, it does become a lot easier for them to manage. I mean, because really, one of the most taxing careers that you could ever think of is to be an AFL footballer, especially in a state like this, because the commitment that you guys give to the team, give to yourself, give to the club, give to the fans as well, is just immense. And it is a really good skill to be able to have to sort of do that.
I learned so many skills throughout my career. I mean, I think people in some ways put AFL players or athletes on pedestals. Oh, they're so talented. How good. There's a lot of hard work and discipline that goes around. But the lessons you learn through all that phase is just a myriad of great examples and lessons that I've been able to experience. And, my life is so much richer for having been involved in it for so long. Yeah.
And Lauren obviously is a huge support mechanism for you. It must be, you always kind of think as a fan, Pav goes home or whoever goes home and they must just go home and put their feet up and just relax. But I bet Lauren has you changing nappies, putting the rubbish,
absolutely,
doing the dishes, emptying the dishwasher.
Oh, particularly once we had kids, for a large part of our career, or my career and our relationship, there were no kids. But over the last 4 years since we welcomed Harper into the world, our daughter, and then our 2 boys, it was all hands on deck. And that's just the way the world has gone, and that's the involvement. And really, I don't think I'd have it any other way. I mean, such a great involvement with your kids. But definitely had some challenging moments. But she was brilliant through my whole career, really. And she, the gratitude I have for her for sacrificing things that she could have possibly done, decisions she made to put, I guess, my career first. Just her support was unwavering. Yeah, and so now you've got Harper that can do the father-daughter rule at the club. It's really good. Yeah, it is. So this kind of leads me to some questions that I've got for you. I've let a few fans know that I'm here with you today, and they've asked me if I can ask them questions. So you ready for this? Sure. Okay, I have to put my glasses on because I can't really see. So here we go. Pav, are you free to play the last 6 games of the season? No. Look, I hope
Come on, don't let us down now.
No, the young forward line's needs a bit of work, and so does the delivery into the forward line, but me being there wouldn't be a good sight. Wouldn't be a good sight.
All right, so look, I'm glad you mentioned that, because this leads me to my next question. Right. It says, when are you going to be taking the coaching spot at Freo?
Never.
Never?
No, I don't think
all
I
right,
will.
That's right. Maybe just coaching the forward line.
Coaching the forward line?
Yeah. Do you reckon
I don't really have a strong desire. I mean, I love working with young people who are ambitious and you know, a group of people who are driven to one goal, but I don't have a real desire to be an AFL coach or even an assistant coach. So any grand ideas of that happening are very unlikely.
We're going to be letting some people down tonight. Okay, hang on. And then we've got a couple more. We've got 2 more. So do you watch the game every week?
Generally speaking, yeah. I mean, I've commentated quite a number of them this year, so I do watch a fair bit. There's been a few I've missed, but generally speaking, I always try to watch it.
Cool. And the last one, this might really be for Lauren. We should have her here for this one, but do you think Lauren and you could arrange to have a few more sons?
Well, the father-daughter.
Yeah, father-daughter.
So
we're happy about that. So that's 3, but I'm thinking they need...
We've got 2 sons. We've got William and Jack. So. They're not showing any signs yet.
Okay.
2.5 and 10 months.
It's a bit. Yeah, 10 months. It's not even walking yet.
Look, if they, I've been asked this quite a bit.
Have you? Okay.
If they want to play, fantastic.
Of course.
You support them. If they don't, then I couldn't care less.
Yeah, that's it. Understand. Del, look, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. We're looking forward to seeing you in August at the tour in Perth at the Novotel Langley. Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Pavlich.